Thank you for calling Hail Mary Hotline. This is Bridget. Please hold while I transfer you.
Welcome back to Hail Mary Hotline. I'm your host, Taylor.
I'm your host, Sarah.
And we have a lot to talk about today. A lot of things have happened in the last couple weeks, but rivalry weekend. Wow.
Yeah, I think definitely every year I feel like we see a new side of football with rivalry week. And happy Thanksgiving indeed, because we ate good this weekend.
What a weekend it was. So starting off, Saturday snapshots, even though this one didn't happen on Saturday. Thank you, Thanksgiving, for that. But A&M Texas, Lone Star Showdown. I was really rooting for A&M on this one, but Texas won 27-17.
And A&M now I have a slight personal vendetta against you because now we are
in the SEC championship because of you. But it's fine. More on that later. But, I mean, A&M got killed. It really wasn't as close as the score.
I think as soon as Reed went down and they stuck him back in, which I don't think they should have done, I think that it was kind of over from there.
I do too. And you could kind of see the air taken out of them when he did go down because he's a lot of their offense. And he was just never quite the same when he went back in. And you can kind of tell that he was limping a little bit. He wasn't quite all there. It was just, I don't think they should have put him back in.
And they looked like they were rushing to get him back out there too.
Yeah, they did. Because I don't think they have a whole lot of faith in their backup. And given what we saw a couple weekends ago when we went to A&M, he didn't impress me against Stanford. So,
and we didn't know if that was them playing conservatively because it was Stanford, or if it just that's what they were playing right now and pulled a bobo. But I guess that's just what they were playing.
I guess it is, but it was concerning. I mean, you look at the stats though; they kind of had really similar games, which is really surprising because it seemed like Texas just controlled the line of scrimmage so much more than A&M did.
And they did.
They did, especially defensively. It was just, it looked like they were just beating them down. But, I mean, both teams had 19 first downs. A&M had 337 total yards. Texas had 397. I mean, A&M had 8 penalties for 62 yards. Texas had 7 for 78, which is low for Texas this season, I feel like.
No, it definitely is.
Yeah.
But A&M also had 2 turnovers. I think that we saw an intercepting game from Reed this week. And I don't want to completely discredit A&M's season because I think that they have continued to play impressively and play well aside from this week in South Carolina, I'll say. But because you can't, if you're going to talk about it, you have to.
You do.
You have to talk about it, I think. But I don't know what happened this week. I don't know if it was a lack of communication. I don't know if it was a lack of confidence. I don't know if it was they're all kind of pooping themselves a little bit. But
it could also be that you played the bottom 7 teams in the SEC, and that was your schedule. And the one time that you played a decent SEC team, you got your butt kicked. And I get, strength of schedule arguments, and I know earlier this season we did say that A&M probably should be number 1 given their strength of schedule, but after looking at it, most of the schools that they played had their head coach fired at some point that season, which should tell you a lot about the state of their program. I think one of the only ones they played that didn't was Missouri, and they're still not great. So, yeah, you played an SEC schedule, but you played the bottom SEC schedule.
And Texas, who has also managed to hold on to Coach Sark, I don't think he's going anywhere anytime
I don't think
soon.
so.
I think he'll die on that field before he tries to leave.
Yeah.
Honestly, but we also thought was going to be very much the first 4 weeks that we saw from Texas. We didn't expect them to have a drastic switch the way that they did halfway through the season. So I think that they were playing a very different Texas than a lot of people expected them to when, 5 weeks ago we all said, all right, A&M's got that in the bag.
And I will say, Manning looked better. He's still not, I really don't think that he's the level that everybody expected him to be, but he's getting better every game, and I've seen, honestly, a lot of improvement from him. And, I mean, that being said, he only had a 48.3% completion percentage, which isn't good, but still, he looked more composed. He looked a little bit more like he knew what was going on, and he just had I don't even know how to, like, the word to describe it, but he just looked a little bit more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think if he kind of continues on that track, that they have a chance to be pretty good next year if he continues to develop, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think that he's gotten a lot better at actually looking at his options and looking at who's on the field. I think he's gotten better at reading, and now that he knows he has the flexibility to stand there and read for a second, that he's actually taking advantage of it. So, I mean, if you have the O-line to do it, by all means, take full advantage of your O-line, because that's what they're there for.
Yes, it is.
So I think that he feels more protected in the box, so he's working it a lot more. He's not jumping as much, which I like.
Yes.
That was a huge issue that I had with him a couple of weeks ago, was how jumpy he looks like he's boxing.
He does.
Just kind of how jumpy he is in the box, but I'll say he cleaned up last week, so I think, yeah, just more comfortable.
I think he's also kind of cleared out his sidearm a little bit, because the more I watch him, the more he's throwing overhand instead of whatever this, like, sidearm junk was. But he's definitely getting better. He also had 7 carries for 53 rushing yards. So, I mean, that's also nothing to sneeze at. It's also nothing on Wisner, who had 19 carries for 155 yards, as well as 2 catches for 19 for a grand total of 174 yards. Because it's Wisner and it's what he does. You know how much we hate Wisner, but he's so good. There's not a whole lot else to say. A&M won, and it was not close.
Yeah.
Not A&M. Texas won, and it was not close.
A girl can dream.
Yes.
Moving on.
I wore my howdy shirt and everything, and y'all did not do what you were supposed to do.
Moving on to another girl can dream kind of scenario, Iron Bowl, Alabama-Auburn, 27-20 Bama. This game did not go into the direction that any of us wanted it to, and I think that if it weren't so heavily penalized, and
yes,
Auburn got a touchdown called back twice almost in a row because of penalties. So I think that if, I'll say refs got something against Auburn, whoever gets stuck down there really does not want to be there.
No, I don't know what the problem with Auburn is this season. I don't know if they just decided to make this season like rock bottom so that it can only get better, but it's awful. Auburn had 10 penalties for 84 yards, and they had 411 total yards of offense. Bama only had 280. So, but the fumble.
Drop passes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, drop passes. Across the board.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, this is Auburn's 3rd quarterback of the season,
who has performed better than their other 2.
Yes. I think a lot of it, though, is the pressure of playing Bama.
I think it definitely is, especially, was that his first or second start? It was either 1 or 2. He went to Buford. Because of course he did. Yes. But, I mean, he was 18 for 39, 46.2% completion, 259 yards, and he had a touchdown and only 1 interception. So that's not a bad game, especially for your second career start against Alabama, of all people, and probably the biggest game of the season. But it's just ball security. 4 fumbles and drop passes. You have got to be able to control the ball if you're going to win the game.
They would have gotten so much farther if they did not have those drop passes, and I think we would have seen upwards of 600 yards if they did not have all those drop passes.
I think so too.
It's just sloppy.
It is.
And the red zone work was atrocious.
Oh my goodness.
I gotta say, there was not a lot of efficiency in the red zone, and a lot of it had to do with drop passes. But also, kind of a dig on Alabama defenders, because if you're going to break up that many passes and only allow 1 interception, y'all got to work a little bit closer.
Yeah, you do. It was kind of a weird game. Like, this one always is, especially like we talked about a couple weeks ago, Jordan Hare at night. It's just a difficult game. But yeah. I feel like Auburn had so many opportunities, and they just did not take advantage of them.
And Coleman had a really struggling game.
Yes, he did.
Coleman, who has been one of their top receivers the entire season, was guarded and manned on every single play that they had.
Yeah.
And Alabama definitely did their homework, because man-to-man destroyed Auburn's offense.
Yes, it did.
Coleman had such a hard game. Just could not keep a hold of anything. And then the one touchdown that he was supposed to have, got called back. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was a punt or a kick return that got caught that had a flag on it, and I was like,
a weird looking
oh,
one.
maybe they roughed the kicker, or it's a legal block in the back. Like, I've seen this before. That's just kind of run of the mill, and it was a legal formation. And I'm like, all right, well, we're grasping at straws here.
Yeah. I ended up turning this off because I was texting you, and every time I turned it on, Bama started winning again. So I texted you, and I was like, I'm turning it off. I'm not watching anymore. So I saw bits and pieces because I was trying to do my civic duty, but it just... So many things. If they had gone right, Auburn would have won this game, and we would not be in the situation that we're in, but we are.
Yeah.
But anyway, Simpson also had a season low of 122 passing yards, so just like to point that out.
And they have a injury going into this week with Jam Miller. So we will see, once injury reports come out tomorrow as of this recording. All right, so for those of you who don't know, it is Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis awareness week. And Alex McPherson, who is the Auburn kicker, has spent the last 2 seasons in a really severe health rut, I'll say, with a UC diagnosis. And I wanted to bring that up and honor that. He was honored during the game. They had a video of him and the coach talking about kind of his journey and what it looked like from diagnosis to getting his ostomy, which is the bag outside of your body when they have to take part of your small intestine out, and what coming back to the team looked like. And I thought that was super cool to see. And for those who don't know, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease at 11 and have kind of been through the mill and been able to thankfully be in a really good spot of remission. But just wanted to bring that up, especially now, and kind of honor him because he has a pretty impressive kicking record.
That he does.
Which I'm so glad I took the time to look up. He was honored with the 2025 Pat Sullivan Impact Award, and as he should. I think that is huge.
Oh, yeah.
He's currently number 4 in the SEC for field goals made this season, number 5 for field goal percentage, and number 6 for points kicking, which is 95 right now. So,
which is impressive for a kicker.
And he was responsible for over half of their 33-point win over Arkansas, which is huge for them.
Yeah. The video was really cool. It's just, it always, makes you feel good and, makes you want to cheer for a player who comes back from something like that. And the video was really well done. It explained everything super well. And we're not Auburn fans, but, every time I see that guy, I'm like, you know what? I hope he does well. I would like to see Auburn win just for him.
Yeah. I think it was cool to see.
Yeah.
Something that, I've kind of personally dealt with or knew a lot about, kind of up there and talked about. So, yeah, wanted to go ahead and honor him as well.
Yeah.
Moving on to LSU Oklahoma, which I checked out on because every time I clicked onto the game, LSU started to win. So I was watching Tennessee Vandy.
Oh, see, I wanted LSU to win. But defensive battle for sure. These are two really good defenses, and Oklahoma won 17-13. It's a low scoring game, but I will say, even amidst all the whatever is happening at LSU, their defense has remained pretty good. Mm-hmm. But well done, Oklahoma. Probably secured yourself a spot in the playoff, even though I was really hoping LSU would beat you and kind of throw the whole thing off, but whatever. The Egg Bowl. Wow.
Which comes with all of its own controversies. And for anybody who wants our 2 cents, there will be another shorter episode released after this where we talk about playoffs and the coaching carousel and kind of all the politics of football. But people should probably decide if they want our opinion on that.
Yeah, we have a lot of opinions on that, but we'll get there. But Ole Miss won 38-19. They got into it during the game. It was not pretty. I just want to point out, whoever was running sound for Mississippi State, when Ole Miss got on the field, they were playing the LSU fight song. It's just so funny. But, yeah, Ole Miss didn't really have any problem.
I love Rivalry Week.
Oh, I love Rivalry Week. And then Clemson, South Carolina. Clemson won 28-14, and they got into it after the game.
But Clemson won a football game.
They did!
So let's point that out really quick.
I think they're bowl eligible with that win.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State, Florida. Oh my. Florida won 40-21. I mean, what else is there to say about that?
This is a beatdown. This is definitely not FSU that beat Bama week 1. I'll say that, and I think that's all that needs to be said.
Yeah. Anyway, the one of the more exciting games of the weekend, Vanderbilt, Tennessee.
America's sweetheart.
Yeah.
Won 45-24.
I was not expecting that
No.
at all, because this was in Neyland, and I really thought that Tennessee was just going to hand it to Vandy, but nope.
No. Vandy now currently owns the state of Tennessee, which is
That they
something I
do.
never thought I would see in my lifetime personally, but very glad that I've lived to see it.
Did you see the picture of the Tennessee fan, like, crying in the stands because
Yes.
they lost to Vandy? It's like my favorite picture on the internet right now. It's such a shame.
And big trophy to Vandy. This is their first 10-win season in program history. Not like in 80 years, like we've seen all of their program history. This is their first 10-win season and their highest scoring game against UT since 1923.
This was also the first ranked matchup between these two teams.
Yeah, try that on for size.
Yeah. But, I mean, Vandy had 582 yards of offense. Pavia was 18 for 28, 268 throwing yards, plus 20 carries for 165 rushing yards. And Vandy had 314 rush yards to Tennessee's 83. Well done, Orange Nerds, but whatever. And then Aguilar was 29 for 44. He still had 299 passing yards, but he also had 8 carries for negative 15 rush yards.
Yeah.
So, nice.
I gotta admit, when I was looking over the doc, I had to check and make sure that wasn't a typo and you just hit 2 dashes by accident, and then I pulled it up and I was like, oh, no, it's
it's
negative
real.
15.
It's real.
No, our sweet baby boy Diego really got it done this week.
Although his brother did get arrested.
It's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Okay, they also put a document out on the internet of, like, their case to be in the college football playoffs, which I think is hilarious.
After being left out.
Yeah.
At 13 and 14 and the APNC of people.
Realistically, they're not going to get in. But I can respect it.
I respect their commitment to getting this far, but
it's not happening. You were so close. If you had beat Alabama or Texas, then you probably would have gotten in. But losses to both those teams, I think, unfortunately keeps you out.
Yeah.
But, well, more on that in the other episode, should you choose to go hear all of that. But then I think the last big game of the weekend is the game, Ohio State, Michigan. Ohio State finally beat Michigan 27-9. And number one for Michigan, headbutted the ref, and how he was not ejected after that, I do not understand.
I didn't watch a ton of this game. Once I knew that Ryan Day wasn't going to lose anymore, I kind of got butthurt and checked out. You know, I saw a little bit of this and saw it on Instagram a couple of times after, and I was like, you know what? I understand you're heated. I understand you in the moment. I understand you hate these guys with all your guts. But oh my God, the ref didn't do anything to you yet. It was like first quarter.
And I think my thing is, if you're the Michigan head coach, how do you not look at that guy and say, sit your butt down, you're done?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is one of the stupidest things that I have ever seen a player do. Like, up there with the shoe in Florida. Like,
very few things compared to the pettiness of that shoe at Florida.
I love the shoe.
And the lawsuit against flags last year.
I forgot about that. Oh, yeah. But it's up there.
Yeah.
Like, how do you...
I love Rivalry Week.
It's so fun.
Moving on to Bulldog Brief, Clean Old Fashioned Hate, which was one of the messiest games I think we've seen all season, and I'm going to say the worst that we've seen from Georgia. Especially going into what I'm expecting to be one of our worst games this season this week.
Trying to think of how to phrase this. Bobo, what happened? Because it just... all season, it's been like, I feel like we have seen such creativity in the play calling. And granted, we give him a lot of crap about the wide receiver screens, but like, everybody throws them.
Mm-hmm.
It just, I feel
Georgia
like
more than most.
I mean, yes, but I feel like we have seen such good play calling out of Bobo this season. And looking at Saturday, or Friday, I guess, what was happening? I don't understand when Frazier has had such a good first half. He is running all over Tech's defense. They cannot stop him. Why don't you play him in the second half? Why don't you keep running the ball? Why do you keep trying to pass when their defenders are man-to-man on all of our receivers? Nobody can get open. We have not had that issue all season, but we are running all over them. Why can't you run the ball?
Oh my gosh. There's an apology slip going around Instagram to Ellis Robinson
yes.
this week. And give the man his
apologies.
flowers. My apologies to Ellis Robinson the forward. Did not know you had that much game because we have not played you.
Leads the SEC in interceptions. Would like to point that out. So my apologies, Ellis Robinson. I was not familiar with your game, but
especially since we have not taken advantage of you this season yet. But I mean, Branch can get open. Robinson couldn't shake anybody the first half of the game. Just, I don't understand as an offensive coordinator if you are staring from your high and mighty box in heaven, looking at that's where they sit.
Wow, him, not all of them.
It's where Bobo gets to sit.
That is where Bobo gets to sit.
And you are staring at the man-to-man, tearing up all of your calls. Why you don't run the ball?
I loved when they zoomed in on a Georgia fan in the stands, and she had a hat that said "Run the dang ball," and I was like, "Yeah, please listen." But I mean, just why? I do not get it. And granted, Gunner did not have a good game. Even like play calling aside, this was not his greatest game. He was 11 for 21, 52.4% completion, which is his lowest completion percentage of the season. And
he's
also
number 2 in the SEC.
Yeah, and this was also his fewest passing yards of the season by 60, which the other one was Alabama. So, I mean, he only had 70 passing yards. This was just not a good game from him. He just looked uncomfortable, like he was a little bit shaken up. And I don't know if that was because he has an injury that we don't know about, if it was just because we're playing Tech in the Benz, or if it was just an off day for him. I don't know, but he just didn't look like the clean Gunner that we're used to. And everyone has a bad game. This is the first bad game we've seen from him. Hopefully it doesn't keep up. I'm not worried that it will. I really think it was just one of those games, and it just happened to be this one.
He took a few hard hits. I will say, I think that a bit of the nerves got to him. I think he was struggling to find open players with all of those throwing calls, especially because Tech's defense definitely ran us to shreds. I think that this would have been the game to run our tight ends to death, and perfect opportunity, just didn't take advantage of it.
Did we throw to a tight end at all? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
For legal reasons, I am going to probably call that there.
Yeah.
About that whole conversation. But we did have a really big injury with Drew Bobo being out of center. Yeah. That one is huge because our backup center, granted, it may just be, coming into a big game. He's nervous, but he is not as good as Drew Bobo.
I think a lot of that, though, comes with experience, and a lot of our backups are freshmen.
Yes.
Or they're brand new sophomores. I hate to admit it, but a lot of that just comes with being brand new. You get to get thrown into big SEC games, and you miss assignments, you can get scared, and I get the nerves. Not to the extent that I'm trying to say that I do, but I get it. But at the same time, you can't miss that many assignments when the game is this close. And I'll say, Bobo, we definitely drew, not just OC Bobo.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Gotta specify now.
Yeah.
But Drew, we definitely talked about the first 2 or 3 games because he was kind of missing those assignments,
but then
digging his nose a little bit, but he continued to improve. He's been a huge block in protecting Gunner.
Oh, yeah.
Especially against some aggressive nose tackles, which is what his job is.
Which is why you haven't heard us talk about him in probably 7 or 8 weeks, because he's been playing well. There's been nothing for us to rag on him about. But there was one play, I don't remember if it was Frazier or McCray in the backfield, but if our new center had made that one block, he probably would have run for a touchdown. But he missed that block, and we got tackled in the backfield.
Yeah. It's just, it's little things.
It is.
And we're going to continue to, I think, have a really young team for the next 2 or 3 years until they all finally graduate and become seniors.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of, pointing out their happy signing day to all who celebrate.
Yes.
As of this recording, this probably won't come out till Thursday, but
yes,
pointing it out there when we're talking about, freshmen and how young Georgia's team has been, because nothing will beat the huge graduating class that we had in
Yeah.
like 22, 23. So,
Yeah.
you know, but when all is said and done, I know that we're
Yes.
really ragging on this game, but I think it's important to point out these things, especially going into Georgia, Alabama, and the SEC championship. Again, I say with an eye twitch for those who are just listening.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yes. Anyway.
2 cents about Tech.
Yeah.
King went 10 for 39. Oh my god. 10 carries for 39 yards rushing. If I can read, it's been a long week. 19 for 27, 70.4%, which is usually the number we see from Gunner. 181 yards. Leads the ACC in touchdowns and leads in total yards.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Mm-mm.
But, I mean, Tech only had 250 total yards. Georgia only had 260, which it's not good.
Mm-mm.
Lowest of the season by 46 yards to Auburn.
Yeah.
Which is bad. But it's okay. But, I mean, I will say, I think we hit King enough early that kind of scared him out of running, but we definitely controlled him on the run this game. I feel like that was not the case last year, given how we had to go into 8 overtimes to actually win the game. But it was, again, I don't know if it was that he was banged up and his coaches told him you can't run anymore, or if it was Georgia was just that good on the line of scrimmage and kept him back and from running. But that's really what I was worried about, was not being able to stop him, and I don't feel like we had any problem with that.
I feel like we shockingly played some decent pressure on Friday.
I think we did too.
I feel like that's something that we usually always have a note on is, you know, all our 4-on-5, our guys lined up, and our edge rushers have no twitch and nose tackle that can't really break through because, well, A, we're playing against, like, Alabama-sized defenders who are out of this world.
Yes.
Or, you know, whatever, but yeah, I feel like we played some decent pressure.
I do too.
I still am going to make a note on our secondary a little bit.
Yes, they looked much better.
Yes.
But not quite there yet.
I think I'll say I liked our defensive backs a little bit more. I think I'll make a note on our defensive tackles a little bit because I think we were missing it in the midfield.
Yeah.
And our safeties didn't look quite as lost.
No, not at all.
I will say, which is usually something I always have half a note on.
Yeah, but they looked much better today.
They look much better. So.
Yes, which is good. But I also want to point out, if anybody needs more proof that King is the entire Georgia Tech team, he had 220 of their 250 yards. So they're going to be hurting without him next year. But
just to leave that as it may.
Yes. Hey, Bridget.
Hey, Bridget.
Hi, guys. Hope you both had a happy Thanksgiving and a good little bit of a break there. We're so close to finally being done with school and classes.
Yay!
Yay!
Guns to our heads and an eye twitch.
Yay!
So close.
So close. But now we get to talk about fun things. Yay! So exciting. So, I mean, to begin with, I guess this is what rivalry weekend this past weekend, which was interesting. Clemson and South Carolina.
They got
South
into it
Carolina
after the
got
game.
into it, and then Miss State and Ole Miss got into it as well, but in a different way. Because apparently Lane Kiffin said that the Miss State players came into their locker room and stole their quarterback's jersey, Chambliss. They stole his jersey. Okay.
But his equipment manager put cameras in the locker room because they knew something like this was going to happen. And that's the only reason that anybody knows that it happened.
And then a picture floated around on Snapchat because whoever stole it decided to put it on their bathroom floor and said, "Look at my new bath mat." So.
No, of course.
Yes.
Of course. Yep. So smart. Such a smart plan to do. You steal something and then you take a picture with it.
I mean, that's Mississippi
Well, how else
State
are they
for
going to
you.
know that you actually took it?
Picture it didn't happen.
That's true. That's so true. Have to have credit for stealing it. Of course.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course.
And then, totally different, but Coastal Carolina decided to do a Revolutionary War reenactment during halftime. I think they were the same ones that did the medieval times, right?
They are.
bright blue teal field that they have.
Is it bad that I want to go to a Coastal game just to see it with my own eyes?
No, I think that would be awesome. I'd go just for the halftime game.
Can I go just for 30 minutes and then check on out of the
Can I buy my medieval times ticket instead of my football ticket?
Exactly. You know, they probably make really good business off of that, actually.
I don't know. I've meant to look at that, but it's definitely different. They're doing a lot of things different over there.
They are. I like the Revolutionary War. Way to carry into American history into your
Very
football
Thanksgiving
game.
of everybody.
Very
Yes, it is.
Thanksgiving
It's
of
very
everybody.
Thanksgiving, yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't do a makeshift Thanksgiving dinner on the field. They probably couldn't
Too
do
much
that.
liability.
Scratch that. They probably couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, bring you back to, like, elementary school, like, activities.
paper pilgrim hats.
Your paper pilgrim hats and making turkeys and, you know, add that to part of your activity. So, see, there you go. There's something along those lines. But, I mean, as far as, like, other teams, that's really all that interesting happened this weekend. There wasn't much else besides the fact that it was rivalry weekend and A&M lost. Sad.
But speaking of A&M,
yes,
we had such a great time
did.
last weekend when A&M played Samford. That was one of the coolest experiences ever.
really
Thank
cool.
you again to your uncle for
yes,
helping us get down there.
yes.
But why don't you talk a little bit about kind of the experience, what you thought of everything?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, like you guys said, thank you, Uncle Adam. It was awesome. And to my aunt and family as well. It was a lot of fun. I loved it. I mean, I haven't really necessarily been to as many football stadiums as you guys have, probably. I mean, started out watching Michigan State and Northwestern games growing up when my uncle still coached there, and obviously went to the Georgia game with you guys last year, which was pretty cool, and I thought that stadium was massive. And then we showed up to Kyle Field, and I was like, whoa! So, I mean, from a Bridges Bell perspective, I thoroughly enjoyed their entrance. I thought that was awesome. Being able to be on the field with the pyrotechnics that they had, I thought it was funny that they had a big sign that was like, don't go on the field, fire is used. And I was like, fire? What? And then they came out, and I was like, okay, wait, that's actually really cool. So I thought it was awesome. I think being in the stands, it was like, I mean, even playing Samford, sorry, SAMU, but a not good team, not an FCC's team. And like, it was still a sold out game, which was wild. And the energy was still there too, which I thought was really cool.
Highest recorded attendance in Kyle Field history was at our game against Sanford.
Woo!
So
104,000 people there to watch Samford play Texas A&M is just something I can't wrap my mind around, because that weekend at Georgia, because Georgia had Charlotte at home, there was nobody there. And so it's just the fact that that many people came out to see A&M play essentially a nobody just because it was their last home game of the season is just, it's nuts.
Really cool.
And it was our senior night too.
It was.
So we got to see a cool tribute to all the players. I do want to point out that during all of their commercial breaks, they honor the military in the stadium.
Yes,
and I
which
thought
was
that
awesome.
was really cool.
That was awesome.
I thought it was really cool how at halftime they bring all the cadets on the field and they make the tee and then they all run off the field. Like, I thought that was so cool.
That was and such an awesome tradition too.
Oh,
'cause, you know,
yeah.
they showed the video explaining that as well and what it meant.
Yeah.
And then their marching band
Oh
was
my goodness.
phenomenal.
insane.
It was incredible.
Like, I mean, pristine turns. Like, you couldn't even tell that they were like separate people on the field.
The four-way cross, like, I've only seen videos of it, but seeing that in person, I do not understand, but it looks so clean.
blows my mind because
So-
we have like
Yes.
tubas and trumpets passing each other.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
maybe 2 or 3 days later, I got a point of view TikTok from somebody like on the field doing
Yes.
it. It's insane.
It's
like would have
wild.
lost my head.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
no, for real. I mean, super impressive and very clean and coordinated, like
Yes.
you guys said, which takes a lot of work. So
Oh, yeah.
really cool. And then also I liked how they did the flyover of those
Oh
Black
my
Hawk helicopters.
gosh.
That I think they were Black Hawk helicopters. Don't take my word on it. I'm not entirely sure. They were really cool though. And I think it was an awesome tribute as well, you know, with their military honoring system that they have there at A&M, which is pretty cool. I think they do a pretty good job at honoring the military and everything at A&M from what I've heard. So I thought it was really cool. And I think that was also awesome to be down on the field.
Yes.
To see them go overhead and everything. So very cool. You can tell the coaches are very much so involved with their players as well as like, you know, the school. And
There's a lot of buy-in for sure, and you
For
can
sure.
tell.
yeah, absolutely. Lots of good support and hype, and 12th man is legit. Yes,
yeah.
we can
Yeah.
attest to that now. It's legit, and it was pretty cool. So kind of eerie at some points with how
Yes.
loud it got, but no, it was really cool. It was awesome. So, and then the yell leaders, they're fun too. I mean, one of them was probably my spirit animal. He was jumping around and like yelling and screaming, and I was like, oh, that's so fun. I wish I could do that. Not really. That's a lot of people to be in front of. But you know what? Take this as a message and carry the energy of the yell leaders into your own personal lives.
No, I think everybody should.
Yeah.
It was just kind of mesmerized watching them, I'm not gonna lie. And it was really cool. I'll say after the game, we were all on the field and got to rush with the team and sing the press run out from both sides. Was really cool. And we got to
Yes.
do the fight song on the field with the team after the game.
Which was
It
really
was
cool.
incredible.
Like,
yes.
one of the coolest feelings I've had in sports ever.
Yeah.
Like, that is a
Yeah.
moment that I'm never going to forget.
Yeah.
And just hearing how loud that stadium was throughout the entire game. And even when we first got to the field, it was not even a quarter full. And that place was still about as loud as Georgia is on average, I would say.
Yeah.
Which is insane. And part of that's probably just the way that the stadium's built because it's so tall. But it was so loud.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Impressive.
It
So,
was.
very, very cool.
Bucket list for sure. And I think that
yeah.
is by far the best way to experience it. So.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. So really cool to have been able to be down in the field and everything. So yeah, I mean, again, thank you, Uncle Adam. Thank you to Texas A&M for making it an awesome experience. And Hail Mary Hotline thoroughly approves. 10 out of 10.
Yes.
So, I mean, with that being said, I think that's really all I have to say as far as that aspect goes and Bridget's Bell goes for this week. So, thank you for tuning into Hail Mary Hotline. This is your host, Bridget.
This is your host, Taylor.
This is your host, Sarah.
Go Dogs!
Giga Maggies.